Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. I'm Manhar and welcome back to our safety webcast. In this video, we will learn how to deploy an Azure Spot Virtual Machine using the Azure Portal. Azure Spot Virtual Machine is Microsoft's offering to leverage unused Azure compute capacity at heavily discounted prices up to 90% off compared to pay-as-you-go rates. As the name Spot suggests, when compute capacity becomes available in Azure, Microsoft will provision your VM or VM scale set workload in this capacity within one of Azure's regions. However, there is a trade-off. Microsoft can shut down Spot VMs at any time with a little to no warning, making them unpredictable and unsuitable for traditional workloads. Azure Spot Virtual Machines are great for workloads that can handle interruptions such as batch processing jobs, dev or test environments, large compute tasks or more. In this video, we will learn how to deploy a Spot VM and configure associated options such as pricing and eviction policies. In the first step, we need to log into the Azure Portal. Open your preferred web browser, navigate to portal.azure.com and sign in with your Azure account. Ensure your account has sufficient privileges to create a new virtual machine. Under Azure Services, select Virtual Machines. This will open the Virtual Machines page. Click on Create and then select Virtual Machine. Fill in the basic details such as Azure subscription, resource group and virtual machine name. Next, select the Azure Data Center location where your VM will be hosted. For this example, we are hosting this VM in the East US region. Since this is a test lab, I'll select no infrastructure redundancy required for the availability option of this VM. For the security type, keep the Trusted Launch Virtual Machine option selected. Next, we need to select an image for the virtual machine. An image is an operating system template for the VM. For this example, we will select the Ubuntu Server 2404 LTS Gen 2 image. Now, I'll first select the VM size. Click on See All Sizes. Click Add Filter, select Azure Spot from the drop-down list and then click OK. We can see the list of VM size that support Azure Spot discount. Expand D Series V4. Select D2S V4 VM size and click on Select button. This VM size has 2 virtual CPUs and 8 GB of RAM. In the bracket, you can see the estimated monthly cost for running this VM. The monthly cost for this VM size is around $76, including the VM and disk. Now, select the checkbox for Run with Azure Spot Discount. If you select the Azure Spot Discount option, the section will expand, allowing you to choose your eviction type and policy. For the eviction type, we can either select Capacity Only or Price or Capacity. Selecting the Capacity Only option evicts the VM when Azure needs capacity for other pay-as-you-go workloads or if the price of the Spot instance exceeds the maximum price you have set. This option sets the maximum price we are willing to pay for the Spot VM. To reduce the maximum price instead, we can select Price or Capacity option. To reduce the maximum price, we then need to fill out the maximum price we are willing to pay. You have to enter a price that is greater than or equal to the hardware cost. We also need to select an eviction policy. This is what would happen if Azure evicts a virtual machine. When creating an Azure Spot Virtual Machine, you can set the eviction policy to deallocate or delete. The deallocate policy moves your VM to the stopped deallocated state, allowing you to redeploy it later. Selecting deallocate stops the VM but does not delete the data or applications on the VM. We won't be charged for the VM while it is stopped. However, we will be charged for associated storage. This option is suitable if we want to restart the VM when capacity is available again. If you would like your VM to be deleted when it's evicted, you can set the eviction policy to delete. The evicted VMs are deleted together with their underlying disk, so will not continue to be charged for the storage. You can opt in to receive in-VM notifications via Azure scheduled events, which are delivered on a best effort basis up to 30 seconds before eviction. You can select the option based on your requirements. For this test environment, I'll select the delete option so I don't have to pay. Set the administrator account authentication type to SSH public key. Enter the username for the administrator account. For SSH public key source, leave the default of generate new key pair. Then enter meaningful name for the key pair. We are going with the default Spot VM01 key. Leave the remaining settings as default. Then select the review plus create button at the bottom of the page. Wait for the validation to complete. If the validation passes successfully, we are ready to create the virtual machine. If validation is failed, then review the mandatory parameters that are not defined or required. In our case, the validation was successful. Review your selections before creating the VM. If everything looks good, click the Create button to deploy a new Azure Spot VM. When prompted, download the private key file. This is essential as you will need it to connect to the VM. Azure does not store the private key, so save it securely. Click on Download Private Key and create resource. The key pair file has been stored under the download directories. The VM creation process can take anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes to deploy the virtual machine. Wait for the VM deployment to complete. Networking related Azure resources have been created successfully. VM creation process has been started. VM has been created successfully. Click the Go to Resources button to view the dashboard of a virtual machine. We have successfully deployed an Azure Spot VM using the Azure Portal. Verify all properties of the VM including resource group, location, VM size and family, operating system type, public IP and tags. Our Ubuntu server is now up and running in Azure. Let's connect to our virtual machine using SSH. From the Overview tab, copy the public IP address. Open the Run menu, type CMD and press Enter. At the command prompt, type SSH-I, then specify the path to our SSH key pair. Then type username at public IP address. In our case, we need to type msftadmin @ then paste the copied IP address and hit Enter to connect our Azure Linux VM. The first time you connect, SSH will prompt you to confirm the authenticity of the host. Type yes and press Enter. Now the Linux virtual machine is connected and can be easily used from the local machine. You have successfully set up an Azure Spot VM and connected to the Linux VM using SSH. That's all for this video on how to deploy an Azure Spot virtual machine using the Azure Portal. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on Microsoft Azure and other Microsoft related topics. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.